Chris.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're Family Magic Weekly, the Disney YouTube channel and Twitter account that is cooler than the other side of the pillow. But the other side of the pillow is pretty cool. In this episode, we are going to go through the top 5 things that you must do at Walt Disney World on your first trip. There's a lot of must-dos that a lot of opinions people have about must-dos. But these are the things that we think you have to do the first time you go to really get the flavor and the full experience of Walt Disney World. And speaking of making your first trip to Walt Disney World memorable, that leads us to number 1 on the list, which is for your first trip, you should really stay on Disney property. Now, there's a ton of hotel rooms in the Orlando area, and you get really good, tempting rates on hotels that are outside of the parks that are still pretty close by, and they may offer you transportation and things like that. What we would recommend for that first trip, though, is to resist that temptation, if you can afford to, and stay on property for at least a portion of your visit. Aside from the fact that you get extended park hours, the extra magic hours if you're staying on property, there's just something to be said about being in that Disney ecosystem from dusk till dawn that just makes the whole experience, it sort of gives you the whole experience as it was intended to be experienced.
Being able to spend a day without having to worry about getting behind the wheel because they make sure that everything is taken care of.
Yep.
They want you to have no stress whatsoever on your trip.
Even though you're going to.
Yeah, you gotta stick to those fast pass times.
Yeah.
But they really do go above and beyond anything that you could have ever asked for on a trip. Everything's
sort of thought of. You can get things that you purchase sent back to your room. All these little things, all these little benefits that I think would make, your first experience all the more enjoyable.
Number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is we think that a must-do is fireworks at the Magic Kingdom. Now, they just announced this week that the current show called Wishes is going to be changing and be replaced the middle of this year. They said May. I think around May. Now, Wishes has been in place as long as you have been there, right?
As long as I've been going, yeah.
Yeah, as long as he's been going. I saw the show before that a couple of times too, but fireworks at the Magic Kingdom are just, they're just so cool.
Number 3 is a character meal.
There are character meals all over property. One of the most well-known ones is Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary. There's also the Ohana at the Polynesian. There's a Mary Poppins themed one at the Grand Floridian. Mm-hmm. You can get character meals at all 4 parks, and there are really great resources online if you're looking for specific characters, which breakfast you want to go to and where to find them. Mm-hmm. Not all restaurants that have character meals have them for every meal.
Right.
For example, Tusker House is our favorite, one of our favorite character meals for breakfast, but it's only breakfast that the character meal is.
Ohana also.
Ohana is a great character breakfast, a great dinner, but not a character meal.
Yeah.
And there have been a few additions made to character meals that are not in Disney resorts. Mm-hmm. I believe the Four Seasons now has a character meal with Goofy.
And you'll see probably some of the footage now. We have footage of character meals from Ohana and from Tusker House and from Hollywood and Vine that we've taken at this point just our son too.
So the great thing about a character meal is that you're in a sense killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The lines to meet characters can get pretty long, and if you've got little ones that have their heart set on meeting certain characters, you probably don't want to spend an hour standing in line to meet Mickey when you can be enjoying a breakfast while waiting for them to come to you.
Yeah, eating his face in waffle form while you wait for him to show up. We mentioned the resorts that these character breakfasts are at. Many of them are linked by the monorail, which is number 4 on our list. And you should ride the monorail. It was there when the park opened. It linked the Polynesian and the Contemporary and Magic Kingdom. There's been several iterations of the monorail since it's open, but the monorail itself is an experience that has largely stayed the same, with the exception of they've added the Grand Floridian and they've added the second monorail that links the transportation center with Epcot. It's really just it's everyone always thinks of the monorail when they think of Walt Disney World, and it's really something you want to experience. It's more of a ride than taking a bus, and certainly has better views.
It's definitely an experience, and I think I have gone to Disney many, many times without knowing until I was older that there were actually 2 monorails, which is I don't think is as widely known if you're not a avid Disney goer. So if this is your first trip, it's good to know that there are 2. So if, and you can get on the monorail at Magic Kingdom, take it to Tickets and Transportation, and hop on and take it to Epcot. It's really convenient. I feel like it's a ride. William's always enjoyed it. And I personally like the monorail loop that goes to Epcot because it loops you through the park.
Right.
Which the Magic Kingdom loop doesn't, but the Magic Kingdom one will take you through resorts.
Right.
Which is also very cool, especially if you are like us and sometimes we just want to snoop around resorts.
Right, exactly. Number 5 is a 2-parter. We each have a ride or an attraction that we feel you must do on your first trip. You want to go first?
So most of our list has been focused around the Magic Kingdom, which is a nostalgic thing. If this is your first trip, I've recently spoken to people who have never been, are planning their first trip, and didn't know there was more than the Magic Kingdom. The one ride that I have to do every time I go to Disney is the Kilimanjaro Safari. I just think it is so... and I've said this before, I think Animal Kingdom is just an incredibly well done park. And the Kilimanjaro Safari is a very well done animal sanctuary. The ride used to have a storyline to it. I don't think other than the queue, it doesn't have that storyline too much.
Yeah, it's more of a conservation, so it's like conservation sort of story.
It's more of a, but it's a great experience, and I just like the idea of seeing the animals without them being contained like they are in a zoo. They do just such a great job of making the animals are as free as they can be in a confined environment. There are many times where we've been stuck on rides because there is a rhinoceros standing in front of us or a giraffe standing in front of us. And it's just, it's an opportunity as someone who likes to take pictures to get photographs of animals that I will probably never see on African safari that I will never take. So for me, and it's a ride that changes every time. So I could ride it 10 times in one day and be perfectly content because every ride is a different experience. So I definitely think that it could be a 3-hour wait and it's worth it to me.
So my must-do attraction, I have very strong opinions and very strong favorite attractions, but I feel like, the must-do on your first trip attraction should be a Magic Kingdom attraction. And there are, there's the classics that everyone will say. There's the Jungle Cruise, there's, Small World, there's Peter Pan, there's all those. For me, the one that I think you have to do the first time you go to Walt Disney World is Splash Mountain. I think Splash Mountain is
Really?
yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something else.
What? What did you think I was gonna say?
The other mountain.
Space Mountain?
No.
Thunder Mountain?
Yes.
Thunder Mountain was closed the first time I went, so I didn't ride it on the first trip.
That's right.
But Splash Mountain is, everything you think of when you think of Disney. There's storytelling in it. There's a bazillion audio animatronic animals. The scenery is great. There's great views of the park from the top, and at the very end, there's a nice, reasonable thrill with the drop.
Surprisingly awesome at night, as
Yeah.
long as it's not a cold night.
Yeah.
We did it once when it was a little chilly
Right.
in the evening, and I regretted that.
Yeah.
But the views before the drop are beautiful at
Yeah.
night.
To me, it's an attraction that you definitely want to do when you go to the first time. That's not to say you still want to do Space Mountain and Thunder Mountain and Jungle Cruise.
Dumbo, teacups.
All those things. I mean, there's a lot of attractions at Magic Kingdom. But to me, Splash Mountain sort of has it all, in my opinion. Which has made me start thinking about my favorite attractions with different parks. So I think that's going to be a video upcoming soon, because I definitely have opinions on those. That's it for our top 5. What's your top 5? What do you think? What do you think we missed? That is absolutely needs to be on there. And what do you think we're off base about? What mistakes do you think we made? We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to hit subscribe, hit the like button on the video. Unless you didn't like it, then you could hit the dislike button. It's a free country. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Family Magic WKLY. We're on Facebook, Family Magic Weekly, Instagram, Family Magic Weekly, and Pinterest, Family Magic Weekly. We also have www.familymagicweekly.com, which is kept up to date by Amanda. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week.
Be careful.